I'm your host, Lauren Moraski. Our next guest is Madilyn Bailey. She burst onto this YouTube scene with her beautiful covers of popular songs, including David Guetta and Sia's Titanium. She now boasts some 5 million YouTube subscribers and is recording original music. Please welcome Madilyn Bailey.
That was so cool. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited to have you here, especially as you just released your new single, Tetris.
Yay.
Congratulations. Yeah, I mean, how does it feel that it's out in the universe?
It's pretty incredible, especially seeing as, I only wrote this song in August, so as soon as I wrote it, I felt like it was a special song. I played it for my team. They felt the same way, and we're like, okay, let's work on the production and get everything rolling. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So how did the song come about? Like, you know, how did you write it? What was the inspiration?
Yeah, Tetris is a song that I wrote about making a lot of wrong moves in relationships, kind of like playing Tetris when you make one wrong move and then it kind of just spirals out of control and then game over. But there's also a game of Tetris where all the pieces seem to be fitting into place perfectly, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And that's how I feel like in a relationship, when you find the person whose pieces fit your pieces perfectly, it's like, wow, this is so easy. Why have all my other relationships been so hard? And so, yeah, for this song, when I was writing it, the first thing I came up with was the title, Tetris. And then from there, I just built all of these, picked all these words. Like, I really wanted to use symbiotically in it, which is a, very, scientific kind of word. But I'm really happy with how it all came together.
Super relatable in that way, because I think we've all been in relationships where it's like, this doesn't fit, I don't know why. And then
exactly.
all of a sudden it fits, and you're like, oh, why was I worried about that?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You're in a relationship now too, right? So
Yeah, I'm married.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking. Oh, yeah. You're married. Well, I saw that you were in Paris recently with your beau, your husband.
Oh, yeah.
Very romantic there for Valentine's Day, right?
We were. We actually, after sharing a bottle of wine together, we decided it'd be a really awesome idea to take the metro to the Eiffel Tower. When we got there, there was nobody there. Why? Because it was like pouring rain. It was really cold, but we made it at exactly 11 o'clock, which is when it like sparkles at night, and we were the only people there, so I was like, it actually was kind of special, but really cold.
But beautiful.
It was awesome.
Beautiful.
I'm glad we did it.
That's awesome. And you have a lot of fans out there.
Yeah. France has been an incredible country to for my music. A couple years ago, Titanium started playing on the radio there, and then from there we picked a few more singles, and I did a bunch of radio promotion and television promotion, but then this time I went back to Paris to release Tetris. And I also played my first sold-out headlining show, which was so incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What was that like? How did you pick the set list of what to perform?
I picked some of the cover songs that had been singles on the radio, and then I played them a bunch of the brand new original songs that aren't released yet. So it was really cool to see their vibe on it.
Yeah. What was the reaction?
I think they had a really good time. I had a really good time.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, it was a packed house. I think they sold 60 tickets more than they were supposed to, and it was it was such an amazing vibe in the whole house that night.
That's cool. So back to Tetris. Something like that, when you wrote those lyrics, you brought it to your team. What was the recording process like? Okay, you get into the studio. How long did that take?
What's interesting is whenever I write a song in a writing session, I try to make sure that the vocals that I cut that day are good enough that if we want to use them, we can, which is what ended up happening. Because a lot of times what happens is you'll make this demo, everyone will fall in love with it, then you'll go to the studio and re-record it, and it won't have that same magic as it did the day that you recorded it. So those are actually just the day I wrote them. Those were the vocals that we cut for the track. Yeah.
That's incredible. You have such an incredible voice.
Thank you.
At what point in your life did you realize, okay, I think I can sing?
I think I knew when I was 2. I'm not gonna lie. I was just I would run around the house in diapers singing "I Want Much More Than This Provincial Life" from the Beauty and the Beast soundtrack. Yeah. From that moment on, I was like, oh, I have to do this for a living. But I think that Titanium was one of those songs for me that really solidified that I had a big voice. I knew I could sing most of my life, but I didn't know that I had such a powerful voice until I tried singing that song in the studio, which was, it worked out, I think.
Yeah, well, it has. To be on the radio, hear that song on the radio, it's been done before.
Yeah.
How do you make a song like that your own?
So when I heard Titanium for the first time, I was like, you can't tell based off of the production, but this song is a tragic, love ballad. It's a heart-wrenching song, but you would never know when people are dancing to it in a club, right? So I was like, oh, I have to strip this down. I have to put it on the piano and really sing from a place of where this song was written from, and I think that resonated with a lot of people.
Right, and it's different than what you normally hear.
Yeah.
Same thing with your Despacito cover,
Oh, yeah.
which we just heard at the Olympics.
I know. That was so crazy. Not planned. Really, really cool. Despacito was a fun one to do. Luckily, I had my friend Leroy Sanchez, who's actually from Spain. He was able to teach me well enough that the internet they said I did a good job. So I was like, that was my only goal, was to not embarrass myself on my YouTube channel.
Has that happened before, where you put something out and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm afraid of what the comments say or what people are going to react about?
You know, it's been a long time. That was the first one that I was actually like gut nervous about, because I was like, I don't know, the internet's so mean sometimes. But I think you take it as it is on the internet, and I think my fan base online are actually very, very positive and usually receive stuff really well. So
Yeah, and of course. What was the first YouTube video you ever posted?
it's a cover of Mad World by Tears for Fears. It's still up if you want to watch it, because I have to have some way to keep myself humble. So I just go back and remember Madilyn. Oh my gosh, look where you started.
What's so weird about it? Was it just like you sound much better now, or?
I mean that, but also it was like I didn't have a tripod, I didn't have an HD camera, so I literally stacked it on boxes, and I was like scared out of my mind. So I like was staring at the camera like this, and not like I wasn't moving. There was no emotion on my face.
Wow, yeah, that's scary though. But how old were you at that time?
I think I was 16.
Okay,
Yeah.
16. I mean, that's pretty
16.
young. At what point did you just like, okay, I'm gonna just put this on YouTube? Like, what brought you? Did you have some friends who were doing it?
I mean, I'd seen a bunch of artists online covering songs and putting them out there and getting a presence. And I come from like a very, very small town in Wisconsin, population 1,042, more cows than human beings. Yes. But I really wanted to do music, and I guess that I was like, blissfully ignorant enough to be like, I think I can upload some videos on YouTube and make a music career out of it, which almost immediately after posting these videos, I was getting an overwhelmingly positive response from not only fans, but also people within the industry. I'd never gotten phone calls from like the Jonas Group or like the Ellen Show before I started posting videos.
Amazing, I know, and it's like one of those things. Now you have how many subscribers? Like 5 million.
Almost 5 million, yeah.
It's crazy. How often do you post? Do you feel like you have to post something new?
I mean, when I started my channel, I was pretty consistent with like every 7 to 14 days. There wasn't an exact science behind it. It was just whenever I felt like the song needed to be released. Now I try like at least once or twice a month.
Yeah. Because you're really working on original music now.
Yeah, exactly.
So we heard Tetris. What else is in store for the original side of things?
Yeah, so the original music video for Tetris actually comes out on March 2nd, which is really cool. I actually do a little bit of dancing in it.
What?
I'm not a dancer. I had my best friend choreograph it and teach me how to do it. I was like, please just make me look good. So you can look forward to that. There's also a piano ballad version of Titanium that'll be coming out, or not Titanium, Tetris, that will be coming out as well, which I'm really, really excited about. And then Tetris is definitely a song we're pushing at the moment, but I spent like a year and a half writing for this project, so there's a lot of original songs. I'm really excited to share them with you.
So piecemeal, one by one, a full album, are you thinking?
Yeah, I think what's interesting is that the way that the music industry has been headed is, with streaming, is I think people digest their music quicker, and that's how I have been releasing music on YouTube for years. And so I'm really in love with the releasing it song by song, because then I can, like I said, in August write a song and have it turned around and post it for you guys if I want to. So it's faster turnaround for the music, but also I think it gives my audience more of a consistent original content coming out, which is cool.
That's really cool. And also, I mean, just hearing your story, I mean, you really had to start from the ground up, and you're a businesswoman in a way. I mean, do you consider yourself like having that business mindset, having to start from from the beginning?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I always saw YouTube as, a system. Like I always was like, oh my gosh, what's because at first you could predict the algorithms on YouTube. So I was like, oh, what's the algorithm today going to be on YouTube? Yeah, so I've always been weird about like loving the business side. I love reading contracts. I'm like so into the business side of it, which I think if you're going to be an artist is really important. You'll get taken advantage of a lot less that way.
You were like a nursing assistant at some point.
yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
what was it like doing, a regular 9 to 5 gig or whatever it was, and also doing music and then saying, okay.
And I was in high school at the time.
And in high school,
Yeah.
gosh, and saying, okay, I got to pursue this. This is 100% what I need to do.
Yeah, I mean, music was always the plan A. There was not a plan B. I even applied for music colleges and got into one on full scholarship. And my dad sat me down and was like, I think that you should not go to college. I think that you should move to LA. I think that you should pursue your music, because he's like, you can't get the next 5 years back. And if, for some reason it doesn't work out in the next 5 years, you can always go back and do school. But he's like, you can't get this time back, which, I think when your dad sits you down and is like, don't go to college, you listen.
Yeah, that's usually the opposite. Usually it's like,
Yeah,
go
exactly,
to college,
exactly.
and then maybe you can pursue the music on the side.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. What about your siblings? You have 5 siblings? You're one of 5, right?
Oh, I'm one of, 3 sisters, 3 brothers, so one of 7.
One of 7.
Yeah, we just recently actually adopted a 3-year-old who my parents have been doing foster care for the past 3 years. So she's finally officially a family member, and it's amazing. She's so cute. Her name is Millie.
How exciting. That's great. So how do they feel about your career, and are they all back home in Wisconsin or everywhere?
Yeah. My family's been super, super supportive. They're also the people who keep me grounded. Like when I go home, they're like, oh, Miss Madilyn, Miss Perfect. Like there's no way to have an ego around my family is basically what I'm saying. But no, they're amazing. They've always supported me 100%, which is amazing. I think it's important. I don't think I would have gone as far if both of my parents hadn't been totally on board from the beginning.
Sure. Who were your biggest inspirations growing up?
My biggest inspirations growing up, it started with singer-songwriters like Colby Kelly and Michelle Branch, and then kind of moved into Sia and Lana Del Rey, where there was just a lot more emotion being emoted in the music. And then I think recently I've just been super inspired by a lot of the pop females that are breaking out on the scene, which is really cool, like Dua Lipa and Camilla, and just I don't know. I'm really proud of the female pop artists popping out right now.
Yeah, I feel like we're in a good mode in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Camilla's new album.
Yeah,
it's really,
so good.
really,
Oh my
really
gosh.
good. Do you have any advice for young people who are just, getting their start, whether it's, wanting to go on YouTube or et cetera?
Yeah. So there's a little story that goes along with this. So when I first moved to LA and was doing songwriting in LA, so the way that I like to write songs is to be very visual. I have concepts, I have titles, I have images, and I start that way. So I start kind of with the concept or lyric base. But in LA, everybody starts with the melody. And so when I first walked into LA, I was very intimidated in these sessions, and I, tried to write their way, which was, just sing and you fit lyrics in later, which taught me a lot about melody. But when I started writing for this project, what I did was I walked into every session and I was like, this is a song that I want to write today. This is the title, this is the image, this is my story. Can you please help me write my story? So instead of taking a back seat and letting the writers in the room write my songs for me, I essentially stepped up and was like, no, this is the direction that I want to go. These are the songs I want to write. Basically what I did is I leaned into my own unique perspective as a songwriter and accepted that that's how I write songs. I don't write songs like Sia. I don't write songs like Camilla. I write songs like Madilyn Bailey. And once I kind of accepted that, I think this entire project came together, which is cool. So what my advice is to really hone in on what your unique perspective is and then just go full force with it.
That's great. That's good advice. I like the story behind it too. Was there ever a moment when you were thinking, maybe I should try out for The Voice or American Idol?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest benefit to a show like American Idol or The Voice is if you don't have a fan base, you can essentially jumpstart your career with a fan base that way. But I feel like I did it a slightly more organic way. I mean, I've been on YouTube for 10 years now, so I started from the very bottom and really grew this fan base organically, which I think is it's harder. I think it's potentially better because I feel like my fans are my family. We are all they're as invested in this song as I am invested in this song, which feels really, really cool.
I feel like YouTube is a community in itself in terms of the YouTube stars that are on there. Are you friends with a lot of other folks on YouTube as well?
Oh yeah, YouTube is a very small community, and I think that because there's very few people in the world that can understand the hustle and struggle of a YouTuber, that we definitely do come together and support each other a lot.
That's cool. Okay, so when you're not doing music, what do you do to hang out or relax?
So I play Mario Kart, which I'm really good at. I would beat you, just saying. I like video games in general, which which is why Tetris is so cool because I'm such a nerdy like gamer person. I also love on top of like video games, I love like card games and board games, and I have like a game night where we play this game called Werewolf. You should look it up. I want the world to play Werewolf so I can go anywhere and play Werewolf with you guys. So look it up. It's
All right.
amazing.
I don't know about it. Does anybody here know about Werewolf? Okay. All right.
You're welcome.
Now we know. Yeah, thank you. lot of fun. Yeah. All right. We'll check that out down the line. Do you think you got the taste of your headlining gig in Paris, and were you nervous for that, by the way? Or you just get on stage and like...
Yeah, I generally get nervous for any show about like, it ends up being like 5 minutes before I go on. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's actually gonna happen. But I think, we did a lot of rehearsing, we did a lot of practicing, and so I feel like you just have to trust yourself when you step out on the stage that all of it's gonna come back.
Do you have any techniques that make sure that your voice is okay before doing something like that?
It's very interesting. I actually just started taking vocal lessons because I came off of a tour, my voice was very tired, and I was like, maybe I should, just figure out things that can help me for the longevity of my voice. The biggest thing that I learned, you have to warm up, and it's not like 5 minutes of warming up. It's like a half an hour to 45 minutes of warming up before you're going to sing.
Wow.
And it makes a huge difference.
Wow. I was wondering this earlier, and this is all totally not to do with your voice, but you've covered so many people through the years. Have you ever met one of the stars or singers that you've covered their song?
Yeah, I mean, I've met the Jonas Brothers, which was cool.
That's cool.
They were very fun. Demi Lovato was really cool. Yeah, I just feel like over the years I've definitely met a number of different people.
Yeah, and I was just wondering if they reacted to be like, oh, we heard your song, your
Well,
version.
David Guetta was actually, they played my song for him on national television in France, and he was like, oh, I love this version, this is so cool. And then he followed me on Twitter right after, which was cool.
See, that's good. That's bonus points for that.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that you would love to sync up with, whether it's a duet or,
Yep, I'm gonna make this happen at some point. It's Eminem.
Yes.
It would be so cool to like have me sing like a big like Sia vocal chorus and then have him do the rapping. I mean, dude.
That would be pretty
cool.
Incredible. Well, you just released an album recently, so maybe for the next album you can get on it. Do you remember your first concert?
Wow. I mean, like first concert of my music or first time I ever sang for people?
Well, both. But I was actually first concert. Did you ever actually attended?
Okay. Oh, the first concert I've attended.
Yeah.
Oh, the first concert I attended was Paramore. And actually, after watching Hayley Williams perform, I was like, that is what I have to do on stage. She was had so much energy, but every note was perfect. So I was like, I have to work really hard if I want to get there.
And what about the first concert that you ever performed?
First concert I ever performed was at my, I think it was like middle school talent show. And I had to have like my entire grade, which was 42 people, talk me into getting up there, but it was the first moment where I had a lot of people who had no reason to like my singing be super supportive, which was cool.
Do you remember which song you sang?
It was a song that I wrote about. There was a kid in my class whose family had gotten in a car accident. He was the only one who survived, so his mom and dad and his sister all passed away, and so I wrote a song for that and sang it at the talent show. So it was a really cool moment, I think, and
wow.
He was really, yeah.
That's impactful. Good. What do you think is going to influence this next, round of songs? What parts of your life, people around you?
I think living is the best inspiration for songwriting. I think that the only way that I write good songs is when it's actually about something real that happened to me. I mean, sometimes it's personified, sometimes it's glamorized, you know what I mean, for the song part of it. But I feel like when I write about an experience that is truly emotional to me, I feel like I'm able to connect with people when they've had that exact situation in their life or they can resonate with that exact emotion.
Do you think you'll be on tour this year?
I hope so.
Right.
I hope so.
Yay.
Have a band. We're ready.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So would it be like a mix of covers and originals, or would you just go original? Yeah, you'll still do the
I think
covers
and originals. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Is there a cover that you want to do that you haven't recorded yet?
I don't know. We'll have to see what songs people release this year.
Okay, get inspiration, right?
Yeah,
like on the
exactly.
fly.
Yeah.
Great. Well, we have some questions from the crowd before we let you go, so hang tight.
Hi, Madilyn.
Hello.
Like the single's really good, has a nostalgic feel to it.
Thank you.
Love the gaming metaphor. One thing that's unique to me is the sound too. is this something we can expect for the rest of the album, or is there something else?
Oh yeah, I think my favorite part about the Tetris production is that it's something that I'm calling like minimalistic pop production. So basically, it's still pop melodies and pop production, but it's like you can count the amount of instruments that are being used in it, and what I think that allows is for my vocals to really shine, which is exciting. The next wave of originals will definitely be very vocal centric, which is exciting.
Cool. Thanks for that question. Who's next?
Hey.
Right here.
Hi, Madilyn.
Hi.
I wanted to know, when you went to Hollywood, was it difficult to stay authentic to yourself, since pop music is, everyone's kind of has the same aesthetic?
That's a really good question. Yeah, I think your tendency when you're first put in rooms with people who are really, really talented is to be like, you guys know what you're talking about. I mean, I'm just a little girl from Wisconsin. What could I possibly know about songwriting or who I am as an artist? But I think that thankfully, because of my YouTube channel, I just kept coming back to, well, this is what works. This is who I am. Because I think at first people tried to mold me as like a country singer, and because I did the acoustic thing, and I was like, that's just not my heart is with pop music. It's always been with pop music. Yeah, I think that we're always in like a constant state of metamorphosis. So there's also the part of it where you do have to allow yourself to be continually changing. But I think it's important to keep people around you who can remind you that you're not all that. And yeah, it's good to have those people around.
Great. Thanks for that question. Next.
Hi. I was wondering what genre other than pop you might want to explore at some point in your career.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I definitely like R&B beats. So I think like an R&B beat behind like a pop production could be really, really cool. Yeah.
Oh, thanks for that question. Madilyn, thank you so much for coming by
thank you for
today.
having
The single is out now. It's called Tetris, and lots more to come from you. So give it up one more time, Madilyn Bailey.